Hello, Mayor Jeff Schielke reporting in on Friday, July 24th, 2020, with my weekly report about things that are happening in and around the community of Batavia. I want to start today by, on a kind of a positive note, but there's kind of a serious message involved with this. And specifically, I want to talk about how fortunate we are to have, in my opinion, the great police department that we now have in Batavia. They continue to rise to the occasion on a variety of issues and calls and situations. And I just am so very pleased with our police administration and the way that they go about doing their business in a way that I think treats everybody with fairness and dignity and understanding. I had a meeting this morning with Chief Dan Ewell of our police department, and he was sharing with me that a situation that's arriving in Batavia at the moment is we seem to have a number of people trying to work the town through the communications of either the internet, the U.S. mail, or the phone call. And they don't want to talk to you or see you in person, but they want you to communicate. And specifically, they're doing schemes and angles in which they're sending people prepaid debit cards. They are sending you information about how they can give you a mortgage that's significantly less than what the one that they think you may or may not be paying. I had a gentleman in here the other day with a letter for somebody that wanted to give him a mortgage for, I believe it was $542 a month. But as the guy kind of laughed as he joked with me, he says he hadn't had a mortgage in 42 years, so he doesn't know why they want him to start having a mortgage now that would only cost him $542 a month. So as Chief Ewell indicated to me, what we got here is a great crime spree that's exploring Batavia and trying to find ways that they can technologically and get you to give them your credit card numbers or your checking account numbers or your social security number or whatever, and then use that to empty out your credit card or your bank account or whatever the issue may be they're trying to pull on you. So I just want to put the warning out that the Batavia Police Department has got a lot of calls just this past week, specifically on people noticing that they're being sent prepaid debit cards by some government agency or some other angle, and you got to be very, very careful with all that because there's a way that they may have set up an account for you under your name, and you don't even know you have that account, and suddenly you're getting a bill for stuff that that they've gone out and spent on your account. And so you got to be very, very careful with this. If you use that debit card, that's going to kick in the system, and then the bad guy is going to go out and probably eat up the rest of the balance on that debit card and go do something for themselves. So be very, very careful of that, please. We have been extremely blessed in Batavia to have the staff that we do, not only the uniformed officers on the street, but I will tell you, it's been my experience that in my years as mayor of here, we have been truly blessed with some of the finest and kindest individuals I've ever known have worked in the office at the Batavia Police Department. Just extraordinarily super nice people who do a lot of nice things. And one of the things most people don't appreciate is the fact that the Batavia Police Department front desk, which is down here out in City Hall, is open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. It does not close ever, and there's always at least one human being sitting in there to answer the phone or answer somebody coming in off the street. And those are the people that are the ones, if you call us after hours, your phone call probably ends up with them. And then if you have an electrical outage or a water main break, or you got a dog has suddenly appeared on your doorstep and you don't know what to do with it, you call, and they're the ones that, you know, in their great efforts take care of all that for you. So that's a facility within the city that I think is invaluable, and the fact that you can call them every moment of every year is something that I'm very, very proud of. So I just want to take my hats off to the Batavia Police Department because Chief Ewell asked me to put a little warning out to people about all this identity theft and shenanigans that are being played on some of our residents. So please be very careful. If you have any questions or any issues about it, you can go on Facebook. I'm told our address is Batavia Police, Illinois. And you can look in, and we've got some information on Facebook, I guess, that tells you a little bit more detail about some of the the annex that we've dealt with recently. Or you can certainly call down to the Batavia Police Department and ask to talk to the detective division, and there's very kind officers there, and they will attempt to handle these things for you. So please just know that we're here to work with you to try to protect you and make sure that good things happen to the people of Batavia, and that's our mission and our role, and I think we are doing an extraordinary job in doing so. The next thing I want to quickly just share with you is at the City Council meeting on Monday night, the Batavia City Council passed a resolution 20-92-R, which appropriates $1,475,500 from the Batavia share of the state motor fuel tax fund, and that money is going to be used in the 2020 street resurfacing program, which we took bids on July 15th, and we have awarded that contract. So you're going to begin to see quite a bit of street work taking place around almost every section of Batavia. And I've got a quick list here I'd like to read to you of what streets are included on this. First, I believe this is maybe alphabetical. We're going to do Apache Drive from Ponca Drive to Pueblo Drive. We're going to do Branford Circle from Landfield Road to Ward Road. We're going to do Church Street from Washington Avenue to Park Street. We're going to do Churchill Court from Stewart Street to the end of it. We're going to do Columbia Street from Washington Avenue to Park Street. We're going to do Creek Lane from Sioux Drive to Iroquois Drive. We're going to do Cypress Avenue from Chavanaugh Trail to Maple Lane. We're going to do DeShannon Court from Beckman Lane to the west end of Beckman Lane. We're going to do Ekman Drive from Redant Road to Wind Energy Pass. We're going to do Fayette Street from Washington Avenue to Park Street. We're going to do Fitch Court from Potawatomi Drive to its end. We're going to do Goldenrod Drive from its end to Woodland Hills Road. We're going to do Iroquois from the west end to Creek Lane. We're going to do Judd Lane from Hart Road to Meadows Drive. We're going to do Kickapoo Avenue from Hart Road to the end. We're going to do Manchester Avenue from Kickapoo Avenue to Van Buren Street. We're going to do Maple Lane from Republic Road to Batavia Avenue. We're going to do Matthews Court from Potawatomi Drive to its north end. We're going to do Mayflower Drive from Foxglove Drive to Wilson Street. We're going to do Meadow Drive from Judd Lane to the city limits on that street. We're going to do Meadow Rue Lane from its east end to Wintergreen Drive. We're going to do Navajo Drive from Western Avenue to Blackhawk Drive. We're going to do Nordic Court from Viking Drive to the east end. We're going to do North Avenue from Western Avenue to Van Noordtreek. We're going to do North Avenue from Batavia Avenue to Water Street. We're going to do Paramount Parkway from Hubbard Avenue to Fabian Parkway. We're going to do Pleasant Court from Pine Street to its north end. We're going to do Ponca Drive from Apache Drive to Cypress Avenue. We're going to do Potawatomi Trail from Ridgelawn to Hart Road. We're going to do Pueblo Drive from Apache Drive to Cypress. We're going to do Red Bud Lane from its north end to Bradford Circle. We're going to do Republic Road from Chavanaugh Trail to McKee Street. We're going to do Roxbury Court from Woodland Hills Road to its end. We're going to do Sioux Drive from Navajo Drive to Creek Lane. We're going to do Spruce Lane from Manchester Avenue to Kickapoo Avenue. We're going to do Sylvan Court from its east end to Viking Drive. We're going to do Stonefield from Ward Road to McKee Street. We're going to do Viking Court from its end to Pine Street. We're going to do Violet Lane from Woodland Hills to Wintergreen Terrace. We're going to do Von Hoff Drive from Wind Energy Pass to Ritter Drive. And finally, we're going to do Ward Road from Landfield Drive to Branford Circle. So that's a lot of street work, and I'm very pleased that we had the money, and this is not any taxpayer dollars from your property taxes. This is all being paid for by state motor fuel tax. And so we've got this to look forward to, and this work should be starting in the next few days. Now, one of the things I do near the end of my report, which seems to be very popular, is I talk about a little Batavia history and some anecdotes. And today I'm going to mix a little history with some current realities in town. And so the first picture I want to show will bring back some memories to a number of you. This was the original first flashing time and temperature sign that we had in the city of Batavia. It was over at the corner of Island Avenue and Wilson Street. And in the 1960s, it was mounted there by the First National Bank of Batavia, who was in the location until later was purchased by the school district. And that building, it's the building on the southeast corner of Island and Wilson. And as you can see, they had a very large sign that hung off the front of the building over the sidewalk, and it used to give the time, and then it did the temperature. And at one point, the city council of Batavia got themselves into a little bit of a to-do because the time was staying on the screen too long, and people were keeping their eyes on it and were running into people in front of them because they were waiting to see what the temperature was. So they had this big discussion at the city council meeting one night about how we got to cut down and make the signs flash more regularly, because people lock in on what it is, wanting to see the other message, and they get themselves in accidents. So that was one of the early things that we had in Batavia as far as a flashing time and temperature sign. But I just share that as a fact that, I got another picture here if I can find it. Today we have the flashing time and temperature signs at both the east and the west side fire stations on East Wilson Street and out on Main Street. And so we don't have this problem anymore with, how quickly the sign changes. When the Batavia Fire Department put these signs up, and I just want to indicate that these signs, again, weren't paid for by taxpayer dollars. There was an anonymous group of donors in town that gave a lot of the money to buy these two signs in front of the fire department in appreciation for all the services the fire department had given to them over the years. But anyway, the two signs that we have both start out with the date of whatever day it is and whatever year it is. It also has the time and it has the temperature, all on one sign. So you don't have to, once you read it, you got it. You don't have to take your eyes off the road very long because it's all right there. So we learned our lesson from the time and temperature signs in the First National Bank that we had to cut down on the length of time. First, we thought we were being smart by not having them change too much because it would look too, some of the aldermen at the time thought it would look too flashy to have this sign constantly flashing back and forth, so they extended out the time. Well, that proved not to be a wise decision. The other picture I want to show you is, this is one of the infamous banners that used to hang over Wilson Street during the year that we used to have that would advertise various events. And this one is for Boo Boo Days, Batavia Boo Boo Days, which on this year was going to be from Friday, July 21st through Saturday, July 30th. And I believe this picture was taken in about 1965. And you can see it's over on East Wilson Street, and they used to hang the signs between the two buildings that were on each side of the street. And this became very, very popular, and then other groups wanted to have their sign put up, and so the city got into this. And one day the city got a visit from its insurance company, in which the insurance company encouraged the city not to put these signs spanning the banners across the street, because not in Batavia, but in some other community, they had done this, and lo and behold, the banners broke one day and came down and landed on the windshields of a passing car, which resulted in a fatal auto accident. So right away, the insurance world got a little bit nutsed up about having banners hanging across city streets. So we made a decision many years ago not to continue to hoist the banners across Wilson Street or Batavia Avenue because it was just too much potential insurance issues specifically involved in it. So rather recently, in just the last few days, our friends at Batavia Main Street, now with the approval of the city, have erected a new banner it's at the corner of River and Wilson. It hangs from the existing in-place River Street sign columns that are there, and it says, "Welcome to River Street, food, drink, music, shopping, and more." Now, I want to point out that this is hanging over the street, but we are not in violation of anything because the street where this has been blocked off and is totally closed down, so we don't have to worry about this banner coming down on top of any passing automobiles. And as our friends at Main Street, who are an extremely well thought out and cooperative organization, I'm sure fully appreciate that when the day comes here at the end of the summer when we reopen River Street, one of the first things that has to happen is this banner has to be taken down because we cannot allow banners hanging over areas where there's traffic. So that's kind of my history lesson for the day. The last thing I just want to say is I just have been notified that tonight supposedly is going to be the first televised game of the Chicago Cubs under the new Chicago Cubs TV channel. I'm told that Comcast in Batavia is carrying this on channel 202, all the information I have. Now I say this with some degree of reservation because earlier on when this was all announced last year that the Cubs were splitting off and going to go to their own channel, I was kind of on this outside of some heavy conversations that were going on by some of our cable providers as to how much money the Cubs wanted for their ability to broadcast this game channel on their station. And they must have worked something out because the Cubs aren't wanting to do this for nothing. They've got some ideas they're going to make some money off of this. So I don't know what impact it may have in the long term on subscriptions for cable TV. But tonight it's going to be on 202. So anybody that's a Cub fan that wants to watch the first game of the new season, I guess tonight's your chance. So that's me for the week. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And again, I take my hats off to the Batavia Police Department for an outstanding job in trying to keep us all alert as to the things that are happening around us that we need to be watchful for. So take care, have a great week, and we'll see you next week. Thanks.